Two channels of high-fidelity sound. Two channels of high-fidelity sound. Two channels of high-fidelity sound. A patch cord is provided, so you can hook it to your stereo through the auxiliary audio outputs on the rear panel of the player.
I've lost my glasses and I can't see anything and I don't know what's happening, but I'm stoked to have you here. It's CyberBuzz. I'm crimson clad. It's Saturday. I didn't do any prep for the show today. I'm having a time, and so I thought I would just come hide here with you guys. I would come and I would hang out and we would pretend that everything is perfect and it'll be a-okay. So, today there's lots of stuff. Yes, a Leonis, a rare appearance. It is indeed. I'm so stoked to have you guys. Things are happening. Stuff is happening. We'll see if we get anybody today. Should you tag everyone? I mean, I would never tag everyone. I think that would make everybody in the server very sad. But it's I'll make a tweet because I thought today, I thought today we could listen to a lot of music, and obviously everybody on Hive is having an awesome time with Hive folks. So I thought, depending on who shows up and how many people we get, we could talk about maybe giving a Hive folk away. I was thinking I should just give myself away. I don't know if anybody actually wants me, but I have a me. I was gifted a me, and I don't, it does. It looks like a super intimate show today. It is. You know what? People rarely show up for my shows anymore, and I feel like that's a pretty good indicator of how awesome my shows are. No, I'm teasing. To be quite honest, the people who show up down here on the bottom are the people who want to be featured. So they come and listen in the Discord chat. They listen to the actual station, to MSP Waves. But I do see that many of you jump out and about and you watch on any of the streaming platforms. So if you are here and you are wanting to we'll chit chat, we'll have some fun, we will listen to music. It'll probably just be a talk back and forth, just chatting kind of show today, talking about dumb shit. If you're cool with that, then I'm cool with that. And we'll kind of go from there. I like how Clay immediately threw me under the bus. It looks very intimate. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's been... If you caught the sort of like lead up to the show in any of the sort of chat areas, it's been a bad week this week. I am how is it that I could keep having bad weeks and that the weeks don't get better? I've been kind of aiming for that for a long time. It's like, oh, next week will be better. Next week will be better. Next week will be better. We haven't hit better yet, but I'm hoping for it. There's a lot going on personally, and even around Hive. Like this week had another couple of 3 a.m. calls, some planning for the future, which is great. There are some big AMAs and interviews coming up in the new year. So like positivity is around. It's just I am feeling again today kind of a little raw. And that seems like the best time to go live on air where everybody can just rip you apart publicly, right? So that's what we're going to do. But yeah, I wanted to kind of come up with a good way to give away a Hive folk me, because it feels weird to own myself. And it'll probably feel weird to have somebody else own me. But if you haven't seen the Hive folks, then they're fun. You may want to look into them. So we can talk a little bit about that today. and we'll go from there. And chat will just fill up with sexually explicit Ronald McDonald gifs, and we'll feel things out. We'll feel things out. And I will make a tweet, because I think the Hive folks thing is probably something that people really want to people that really are enjoying this week. It's been really great. So if you hang out around the will I get any sort of break over the new year? I mean, define break. I also noticed that Theta is not, the chat is not forwarding again. So Theta, I'm going to keep an eye on you also. I don't know, to be quite honest. I'm hoping so. It's problematic, you know, like lots of health stuff going on and just things happening around my workplace and my office and everything all at once. And so, you know what? It's no different than anybody else goes through at any time. It's just, boy, I'm tired. I'm really tired. And I'm just need a little bit of a break. And I think we all feel that way, right? It's been 3 long years. It's been 86 years since COVID started. So I think everybody's kind of feeling that way. But unfortunately, like COVID or not, this would still suck. So yeah. And Ron is saying that self-ownership is the cornerstone of natural law. Well, here on CyberBuzz Radio, gosh darn it, it's not natural law, it's digital law. It's code is law. We often talk about that kind of thing. So if you've never been to CyberBuzz before, and I can see some little watchers popping up across the different streams and listeners, wherever you might be hang-a-langin', swing-swangin', CyberBuzz Radio is this sort of love affair with retro future, Blade Runner-esque, dystopian, tech noir aesthetic. We listen to Synthwave, and we often talk about disruptive technology, and we often focus on the Hive blockchain because that's where this show started. So it's often Hive-centric, and then, you know, depending on what people want to talk about, we often branch out from there. And usually by the end of the show, we are 1000% ranting and raving about how Skynet is going to murder us all. So, you know, it's usually at least a slow descent before we get there, but, you know, we will indeed get there. But the Hive folks thing, if you haven't seen, hey, Jesus, good to see you. It's been a while, my man. If you haven't seen the Hive folks, it is the new hotness around the blockchain. Everybody is having a good time with it, and it is another new NFT collection. Obviously, I love NFT Showroom. I'm all about that. As a bunch of us are core team, we often talk about it here. But if you have been hanging out around other parts of the blockchain, there is, of course, Deluxe, and Deluxe is this other fabulous layer 2 solution. And I actually did an interview with Steve, Disregard Fiat, the Deluxe founder. And we'll probably do another one in the future. But this was an interesting thing. I think people hate it, because the idea was there was a limited set of NFTs released. They are sort of little avatar profile pictures based on a bunch of Hivers. And I think it has certainly got people, it's certainly got people a little bit interested, torqued out. I don't know. It's fun. It's a great project. But one thing that I've definitely been seeing as I've been kind of watching, because I was informed sort of towards the end of the project that there would be one that looked like me, is half the people are stoked to be one. Half the people are mad that they weren't included. Some people don't want to collect them and think they're the stupidest thing. Some people want to collect them all. It's really fascinating to see the interpersonal dynamics that everybody's like, I would never buy a punk. And then immediately, you know, punks and avatar projects come to Hive and everybody loses their mind. The interpersonal dynamics are fun. But so that being said, they are a limited mint. You can, thank you. You like my hair today. It is up in a ratchet kind of bun. Sorry, as I get closer to the mic and blow your guys' ears off. It's a mess. It's bad, but if you like it, I like it. I'm here for you. And like I said, I've lost my glasses, so I'm actually flying blind. So if I look a little squinty and confused, it is because I'm squinty and confused. So thank you. I will take the compliment. I could use it, and I'm having a day. So I have lots of good music today. I kind of just want to play music. I thought we could hang out and listen to music together. And then I don't know how to say your name. What's your name? Zaki? Zaki, hi. It's good to see you. I maybe I'm saying your name wrong. But you're Zaki from now on. So I'm glad you're here with us. If you like this, then it can only go up from here. But so what I thought we would do is, since you guys are holding down the fort, and the people who are here today are kind of the bosses, all of you, the couple dozen of you that are around all over the place, we need to figure out a way to give me away. So if that sounds ridiculous, I don't know if you guys clicked on that link that I dropped in chat earlier to the deluxe set, but they are very cute. And in fact, there is, I was laughing because one of the Crimson Clads immediately ended up on the market. And in fact, the first couple of Crimson Clads minted were immediately dumped, which was hilarious. When I was talking about interpersonal stuff, immediately all of the Crimson Clads were thrown up on the market. Somebody gave one away. Somebody which is kind of cracking me up. But so here's the little Crimbo Crimba. So yeah, Leonis, you were surprised that you were featured, right? It's interesting. It's interesting, different takes on the blockchain. So everybody loves an NFT. Everybody loves a free NFT. So I was thinking, let's come up with some stupid way to give this little Mia away, because she's cute and she's fun. And there's probably somebody who will appreciate it, or is trying to collect things, or who would like to claim some weird form of dominion or domination over me. And I'm all for it. So over the course of today, let's talk about like a stupid way to give away a very cool, fun NFT that everybody's excited about. But other than that, I got lots of Synthwave today, and I want to play Synthwave for you guys. And then I have some stuff we could talk about that has nothing to do with anything, but just some projects that have been interesting me. And then if you guys want to chat, if it's just going to turn into like an AMA Crim Day or whatever, then we could do that. The best Crim Photoshop. What, this little bee? I mean, I think it looks like me, but it's funny because there's another bee that I thought was me, and it turns out it's a man. But I thought it was me. And you know what? That's how the internet works. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so, the best Crim Photoshop for the contest. You know, if you've never been to my show before, if you've never been to CyberBuzz Radio, or you've never been to Full Force Radio, welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about what happens here. People go out of their way to Photoshop me in compromising, miserable, inappropriate situations and positions, dicks on my head. It's always dick-centric as well. Like I've got many like dicks literally coming out of my head like a unicorn. I have dildo hands. My face has been put on all sorts of bodies, both sexual and very not sexual. I don't know if if I want to invite the entire blockchain and incentivize the entire blockchain and live streaming community and beyond to just come up with an open idea for a Crim Photoshop. I don't know if I'm prepared for that, because, you know, if you guys maybe remember, many of you don't, but one of the things that I intended when I first came to the blockchain and I first started even live streaming, I thought, I'm going to keep good OPSEC. I'm going to remain mostly anonymous. It's going to be fine. And here we are 6 years later. My face is on everything. You know, dozens and dozens of you guys watch hours and hours and hours of my content a week. And I am probably, you could probably at this point create a deepfake me that would be both more fun, more entertaining, and arguably more compliant than the actual me. So mistakes have been made. Let's play some music. And then I guess I'll go tweet. Why don't I go tweet? And then we'll come back and we can talk about some stuff. But it's rainy here in Vancouver. It's that sleepy time before the holidays where everything feels weird and sad, and I'm tired, and let's just make it like sort of a pity party kind of day, and with a lot of good music. And that's what we'll do. And then of course you guys always are in control, so if you decide fuck you, Krim, this absolutely sucks, then that's what we'll do. Fuck you, I play what I want isn't compliant. You're right, it's not. That's a great point, Lamb. I would like to think that it is compliant in such a way as I am informing you when I don't have to inform you. I could just do things, but I'm involving you in the process, even if the process is just to yell, fuck you. So this is CyberBuzz. We'll do some Synthwave. We'll have a little bit of fun. I got lots of stuff going on, and then we'll feel it out because like I said, I think today will be a quiet day, but maybe not. You never know. Last week we said, I'm definitely not going to lie. I'm not going to record this show. I'm not going to post it. And it turned out to be a great show. And now I'm editing it and I'm going to post it. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna play a track for you guys. It's a new track by Night Runner called The Sentinels. We'll do that. We'll go full dystopian right off the bat. And then we'll see where we end up. So I'm going to do a tweet twat. We're probably going to figure out a ridiculous way of giving away a little Crimbo. The Photoshops are flying now, and we're going to figure it out. So let's do it. Let's play some Night Runner, The Sentinels. I want to find my glasses, but for now, this will do. My name is Crimson Clad, and you are listening or watching or hanging out with me here on MSP Waves. right, there you go. The track actually totally rips. I'm a big fan of Night Runner, and it's sort of like very much She Looks Blind and Confused. Yeah, that's about correct. That's roughly where I'm at today. Do the white girl dance. Well, here's the thing. When in doubt, and when women are confused about dancing and don't know what to do, they literally just take their hair out of whatever sort of pile they have it in, ponytail, and then they just kind of toss their hair a bit. And that's it. And then it looks like women can dance. So at the end of the day, you don't even have to open yourself up to ridicule by being any form of girl dancing or bad dancing or good dancing. Just shake your hair and occasionally do like a booty pop, and then everybody will be like, oh, look at her dancing, yay. Okay, so there's a lot going on in chat right now, and I'm trying to avoid all of the I'm trying to avoid all of the things that are happening in chat right now. I don't know what it is. Yeah, the secret to dancing is not caring. Dancing is a violent and egregious act of not caring, for sure, and that's what makes it fun. So it is it's not that you can't dance, it's that you're bald. Correct, you've figured it out, Marco. That's it. That is the secret to the universe. It's not that you can't dance, it's just that you're bald. Okay, so yeah, no big deal. I see lots more people are wandering in today, and that's great. I'm glad to have you here. I saw Shadows Pub popped in, and probably some other people that I didn't say hi to because I'm a dick. Welcome to CyberBuzz. So I did have some stuff. You guys know that often on this show, we have these chats about, fun dystopian topics or blockchain-related topics or technology topics or whatever. So yes, today we will indeed talk a little bit about, sort of the Hive folks as we plan a good contest to give away a little Crimson Clad. But apart from that, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is Web3, because this is a term that's getting thrown around a lot now, including even in our own space. Not everybody actually agrees on what they think Web3 means. And so I thought, I've got a good cross-section of you guys here, and many of you are willing to chat along with me. Sometimes not. Some of you just listen quietly, hands off, and don't ever chat. And that's no problem. But if you do come hang, may I ask you, indeed, what do you think Web3 is? What does Web3 mean to you? And I'm asking this for a specific reason, because coming up in January, there are a number of AMAs, interviews, conferences that I'll be speaking at. And in the interest of, giving the best and most educational and entertaining presentation, I always kind of like, what are you guys thinking? What is it that is on people's mind? What is confusing? What needs elucidation? What could be presented in a more fun way? These are all things that kind of drive me to do these shows and all the other stuff that I do. And so I thought, well, fuck it. You guys show up here voluntarily. I'm going to mine you for information because that's what you're used to by traditional web and Web 2. So now that I've got you, what do you think of Web 3? Web 3 is a type of spider. You're so helpful, Leonis. For such a smart guy, you're a delight. Hey, yes, I don't know how to say your name, but hello, a Vim viewer. Cribbits. What do you think of Web 3? What does Web 3 mean to you? And this is actually, it's not just coming up because I have talks to do on it. Guys, help me with my homework, God damn it. No, it's not the only reason that it's coming up. It is one of the things that I've found the best about CyberBuzz, and it's helped me with Hive, it's helped me with NFT Showroom, it's helped me with pretty much everything that I do, is the more that I interact with people like you, whether you are, balls to the walls, like all in crypto and blockchain, whether you're only here for the retro wave aesthetics, whether you are, just somebody who stumbled in one day and was like, this chick's hilariously stupid, I'm going to continue to watch her make a fool of herself. Whatever reason you're here, your thoughts often shape the way that I, present things in the future, because I love opinions. I love all of your opinions. My opinions are stupid. I want to modify my opinions as I hear your opinions and I learn more myself. So, I see more people jumping in. Jon Snow, I haven't seen you in ages. It's so cool that you're here. So, John Lamb says that there's the third evolution of weapon-emitted bombs. Yeah, okay, yup. But so Shadows Pub has an awesome sentence. This one sounds like somebody who's actually talked a little bit about this in the past and around the internet. Web3 will be the emergence of the creator economy, where creatives throw off the cloak of gatekeepers and make their own money. Sort of like what we do on Hive. Agreed. Leonis is saying decentralized nukes. That's right. Just power up so you can aggressively downvote. And of course, Dudeness says that my opinions are stupid. Correct. They are. So let's talk about them. Shadows Pub is on it. Many of you guys we're making a lot of jokes, but the idea of the evolution of Web3 is coming up a lot in topical conversation with normies right now. And part of that is because the US government is trying to figure out what the fuck Web3 is and why it matters. And so this is tied into a lot of things that are happening right now with trying to create policy and regulation around cryptocurrencies, blockchain tokens, and things like that. Like, the government is struggling. They see there's money here. They want this money. They are trying to create definitions and ways for themselves to kind of get ingratiated into this process. Meanwhile, we're all over here on the blockchain being like, la 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 la, go fuck yourself, government. And Web3 is somewhere in the middle, kind of creating all of this chaos and delight. So the idea at the heart of it is that what was the internet originally? The internet was a network of computers where the people who were running that network could disseminate information between themselves. And that was cool. Anybody on the internet could send information back and forth amongst each other. Neat! Information sharing, A++, that's what we want. But then we started to move into more and more changes. Oh, John, that's such a cool picture of me at Hive Fest. Thanks, man. It's a series of tubes. Yes, it's a complete, it's pulleys and levers and smoke and mirrors. Absolutely, that's all the internet is. And in fact, somewhere there is a black box with a red button on it, and inside it is a hamster. And if the hamster ever dies or anybody pushes the button, we're toast. But we won't let the normies know that. Don't tell them about the secret of the internet, the terrible secret of space. So then, as the internet kind of started to grow and we moved towards the idea of Web 2, there became this ability for sort of back and forth communication. So as things started, you were having to be part of the network. You were having to be a part of the internet to transact information back and forth. And that was cool. And then Web 2 came along, and services and platforms and websites started to be created on the internet that allowed you to engage in the same way. Communicate information, participate, play games, whatever. You didn't actually have to be part of the network anymore. You could log on to the internet. You'd get your internet connection. You'd dive into the network. And all of a sudden, there could be some sort of asynchronous and synchronous communication. You could write a blog. You could, download a file. And that's sort of been the internet that we've been stuck in for a long time. That's the internet that many of us know or grew up on. And so it was working, But what we have learned, and what we talk about so much on this show, is that the internet has changed. And knowing that this network exists and we are participating in it, we're putting information in and taking information out. But we are not the arbiters or controllers, or we don't even really have a say in what happens to that information we put into the network. And that's the big thing. So when we talk about Web3, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. Is Web3 the fact that we can have complete interconnectivity and we can take our assets with us across any physical border or boundary, but in the Web3 space, we are free to move with our value and our information intact? That's one aspect. Or is Web3 an evolution of this network again, where initially you must be a member of the network to participate in any activity on the network? That's internets of the 90s. Then we moved into Web 2 where, okay, well, we can participate. We can put our information on Facebook. We can have a MySpace. We can make a GeoCities with a turning construction code covered in blingies. Everyone will admire us. We are the gods of technology. But then that Web 2 has changed. And all of a sudden, here's what all of us on Hive have discovered. That if Twitter or Facebook or any of these Web 2 platforms who allow you to participate in the network say, except for right now, you're gone. You're pigeonholed, you're memory holed, you're just cut out of the internet. And you don't have any power over that. And that's okay. You know what I mean? You agree to use a site, a game, a platform, whatever, a social media, because that's a very relevant aspect to Web3. You agree. And you say, okay, well, I know you could do this, but I'm hoping you won't. But you don't have any sway. You don't have any control. And this network, this internet network, as I scratch every part of my face simultaneously on camera, awkwardly for your entertainment, this network is now controlled by a few key players, conglomerates, technocracies. The internet is determined, and network activity, even though you can participate, you can contribute, you can write, you can read, you can encode, you can decode, it's still gatekept by the sort of network providers, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Amazons, the Googles, the Metas. So Web3 is, yes, we're starting to see more people in chat kind of actually talking about it. Web3 equals ownership of whatever sort. You can look at that word in a lot of different ways. You could turn it around, check it out from a lot of angles. Web3 equals ownership. Marco says Web3 is taking back the internet. Yeah, so I'm going to touch on this quickly because I think there are some interesting topics here, and knowing that I'm going to be speaking at a number of conferences and knowing that I'm going to be talking a little bit about Hive, but also just about the evolution of the internet itself and where we are now and maybe where we go next, I wanted to see what you guys thought. I am laughing though because Define the Dollar has reminded me that the hamster can't push a button or the entire universe is erased. Good point. You don't push a button. You definitely don't let the hamster push a button. And Leonis is saying, just remember also that there is someone as well who has to continually replace the hamsters in the black box with the button every 96 hours or the internet goes down. So I don't make the internet. I just tell you how the internet works, kids. So with Web3, what's the next step from Web 2? There are many arbiters and gatekeepers who are running the network who allow you to use it, who empower you to use it, but at the end of the day are the ones who have every say without challenge, without control in how the network is used. Web3 becomes a space where everybody who uses, engages, and sort of is part of the network has ownership, has say, has stake. And that idea of ownership is not, I can point to a single part of the internet and be like, this is mine. You're not, heading over to the box and planting a tiny, tiny flag on a cocktail stick so the hamster knows where not to go. The idea is, well, I have tokens. I am rewarded. My participation in the network goes above and beyond just using it as a resource. My participation in the network becomes about governance decisions. My participation in the network becomes about node running. My participation in the network is about redundancy and decentralization because there's one giant fuck off Facebook data center, and if that thing ever burns down, we're toast. But here in this new Web3, it's okay if an entire country's worth of nodes goes out because the ledger decentralizes information. Everyone is securing the network. Everyone is helping host and support this incredible, useful network. And the idea that not only are you, hi, oh my gosh, it's Carson. I'm excited to hear what you're working on. It's great. That's cool. Carson has been in and out, a buddy who you have done all sorts of things. You did some cool pixel projects. You were working on a game. You pop in and out of Hive, and I'm always entertained to see you back. So thank you for doing a shout out. And yes, Define the Dollar is actually the only reason that we have Web3 is so that you can buy a parcel of digital land next to Snoop Dogg. Yeah, absolutely. And hi, Schmoogle. Schmoogle is another blockchain and awesome streamer in general, running a lot of nodes, talking about Web3. Schmoogle runs a Hive node. Schmoogle is helping with Deluxe. Schmoogle's everywhere, man. It's just schmoogly in here. So I'm so glad to see so many of you guys jumping in. And I'm guessing probably the idea of planning a giveaway maybe helped a little bit. But so here's the deal. We're talking a little bit about Web3, and I'm picking everyone's delicious, delightful, beautiful, not smooth brains about what Web3 is all about. And so we've landed on the idea of ownership and identity, participation above and beyond the idea of, well, I came to Facebook and I uploaded my picture of my cat and I'm leaving and that's it. And that's okay. There's no right way to use the internet. Arguably, there are some wrong ways to use the internet. Arguably, but we don't have the time nor the space nor the guts to go looking for all of those. But so Web3, ownership and identity. So what is an aspect of Web3 that fascinates you? Knowing that here we are building a network that anyone can participate in, not just at a level of, I'm going to use a service, but I am part of providing services. I do have a say in where this goes. And proof of stake blockchains, delegated proof of stake, things like Hive, things like where Ethereum wants to go, and also some other terrible networks that have died horrible deaths, are a really interesting take on this. So here's Hive. Think about Hive for a second. The entire community, the origin story of Hive, the entire community was like, where that's going is not where we want to go, Steam. So we're just not going to follow you. Peace. And we picked up our nodes and we walked away and we created a new network that is secure and decentralized. And it is wild. It is wild. And this is the beginning of Web3, where a community forms and says, hey, we won't be told by any one single corporate entity or any one single network provider what to do. And in fact, we can fire the bosses or we can shape the network. And yeah, it does depend on stake or ownership or things like that. But also, for the first time in forever, we're not just monetizing useful contributions to the network. It's not these overlord companies being like, well, you bring us revenue, so we will give you crumbs. Here you are. There is now the ability to participate in the network and be rewarded directly by the network itself because you are shoring up infrastructure. There's a lot of different ways of thinking of ownership. And so this is very fascinating to me. So you've got all sorts of things. You've left Hive and you've run off to Ethereum. I hope you're having fun with gas fees and all sorts of things. But if you ever want to cross bridge back to Hive, come on over, talk to me. We'll get it done. And I'm very much, while I throw this out there, I'm very much a proponent of bridging, networking, cross-chain development. The next step for Web3 is not just one network, it is many networks and networks working in tandem and crossing networks. Because what is the point of ownership if you're still restrained to a small space, to a small vision, to a small community? Or what is the point of ownership and identity if you must play on one playground? I don't think so. All right, so this has kind of been waxing poetic about what Web3 could be, but I am curious to know if you guys have sort of stuff, whether it's good or bad or things that pop in your head, the more that we talk about the idea of ownership and identity, being a part of a network now. Most people don't want to do any work. Let's be realistic. Yeah, exactly. Why settle for one universe when we have a fucking multiverse? Agreed, Leonis. But so, knowing that this is here, most people don't want to do work. I don't show up to the internet because I need another job, God damn it. Although I blew that. Let's be realistic. The internet is my job now. But we don't come here for that. And most of the services we use, we don't use them because we desire to have an impact on them. We want to use them in the way that we want to use them. And fuck you. Just provide me with something that works and stay out of my face. But knowing that this is changing, how is it that normies entering into a network, entering into Web3, how is it that there is a benefit for them? What is the benefit for them? When we say ownership and identity, people who are already in this space get jazzed. They get it. They're stoked. But somebody on the outside is like, it's hard to make money though. And then I have to do something? Can I just log in with my Google account? How do we talk to those people? It's a good question, and I'm curious, how would you do it? So in the meantime, I am going to pick a track, and so I'm going to do something by another artist that I play for you guys a lot. I've actually played all three of the artists that collaborated on this track. I'm going to play a track that was just released with an eyelash in my eye, just released, called Till the End. And the main producer is a guy named Cassetter, along with Weiss and Max Thor. And I've played all three of these artists for you over the course of the show. Well, they've all come together. They have created a track. It's remixed by Weiss. It's produced by Cassetter. Everyone's involved. It's a good track. We'll dance a little. We'll sing a little. We'll talk a little. We'll come back. We'll do the retro wave thing. We will brainstorm a little bit more about Web3. We will talk about what are some stupid fun ways that I can potentially give away a little Crimson Clad Hive folks, because it seems weird to have myself. And I was gifted to me, so I want to pay it forward. We could talk a little bit more about these sort of fun, dorky, first forays into interesting NFT projects above and beyond art on chain. And then we can talk about whatever you guys want. So my name is Crimson Clad. This is CyberBuzz. I'm just throwing it out there. I've already said it. This is not a fish, but I'm throwing it into the ring. I'm not having a great week. I'm struggling today. I did put my glasses down before I started the show, so I'm trying to follow chat. I'm feeling a little dejected. I'm quite tired, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. This is a bright point of my day. So I need you here today, basically. You guys are helping me on the fly carry the show. You're keeping me company. And for a couple of hours, we're forgetting about troubling things. We're playing some good music, and we are having a little bit of fun. So till the end is how long I will love you guys. Because if it's in the blockchain, that's how long it's there. It's CyberBuzz Radio on MSP Waves. go. Sick track. I'm a big fan of Weiss. I played Bop Wave for you last week, which is just a Weiss release, but that is a Weiss remix. I think he's a Polish guy, and actually it's Weiss, but I've never actually heard him say it. So I read it as Weiss, but knowing Polacks and knowing sort of how traditional letters that we think of in English are said in Polish, technically it's Weiss. It's absolutely Weiss. It's just, and Weiss is a very 80s retro wave kind of thing, but it is what it is. Weiss, Crimson Clad. What is the L with the line through it in Polish is the L. So, I mean, technically I could be Crimson Quad if we're going fully Polish here. But hey, welcome. We're talking a little bit about Web3. We're talking about potentially giving away a little Crimson Hive folk. We've been talking about Hive folks in general. We've got, oh God, I'm getting a bunch of DMs from people who know I'm on air, and that's fine. We'll sort it out. So we've had quite a bit. We've had quite a bit of things to chat about today, and we're already almost halfway through the show. So Carson is saying that he's been using L2s on ETH. Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, Hive is fascinating because Hive has the ability, you could build layer 2s so easily on Hive, and we already have two really great functional ones. So when we're talking about NFTs, that's a good bridge into that. We have Hive Engine, which already has a ton of functioning tokens, full communities, all sorts of assets, and games are placed on it. You know, NFT Showroom, which is our baby, is using Hive Engine. And of course, we've also got Deluxe. So when we're talking about these little Hive folks, Deluxe is another layer 2 solution that has been, you know, expanding over the years. So the last time that I had the Deluxe founder on, we were talking mostly about his forays into creating. DDR is here, but you can't see him. Is he? I don't know. Oh, hey, yes, there you are. Hello. I'm surviving. So yes, he might be on the MSP Vim. That's right. So here's the deal. I am actually simul streaming not only to MSP Waves. So if you're just a radio kind of person and you just want to listen and you don't want to look at this mug, which I don't blame you, you can go to mspwaves.com/listen and you can listen to whatever's going on. You can just hang out, check out the show. But if you are interested in watching, there are a number of places that you can consume the stream. And of course, the number one Hive-powered solution is Vim TV, simulcasting to both the radio station's Vim TV channel and also to my own at Crimson Clad. And then above and beyond that, if you have a platform you like, you could pick Theta, you could pick Trovo, you could pick YouTube, you could pick Twitch. Listen, you have no excuse not to show up, is what I'm saying. Okay? Just open a tab, put me on in the background, and then every now and again I'll say something like dildo or boobs, and you'll be like, huh? Oh, no, it's fine. And then you'll close the tab again. So, we've been talking about Web3. We've been talking about ownership and identity. And coming up in the new year, I'm scheduled for a number of sort of speaking appearances, Hive-related appearances, and things like that. And a lot of them will center around sort of where are we going with Web3? How are these networks that we are developing now pushing the idea of Web3 forward? Where are the pitfalls of Web3? Where are the great things that are happening right now? What are the potential great things that will happen in the future? And these are the things that when I am struggling like I am today, I'm like, hey, audience, talk to me about it. Tell me your thoughts, because then I will look really intelligent later down the line when I regurgitate them myself and pretend they're mine. But in all honesty, it's important to me to kind of get a bunch of diverse opinions on things. So, and actually, you know, everybody's talking about emotes right now on Vim TV. I need to make my Vim emotes. It's on my to-do list. I have the ability and should have my own emotes, and they're not there, and that's sad, so I got to do it. Before we took that whole sort of tangent, we were discussing Deluxe, and Deluxe is an alternative to Hive Engine. And I think they're both awesome, and I'm glad they're both in the ecosystem. And I'm excited that more layer 2s will spin up. And one of the things that I think is most interesting, especially with Carson here, is knowing that Ethereum now Ethereum was forced to move to layer 2 solutions because the base chain, for a lot of what people want to use it for, they want the token because the token is worth a fair bit. And every time a token or an ecosystem's token valuation goes up, everybody wants to get in. They want to pile in. They want to make that money. They want all of them dollars, right? But of course, it turns out that the network, as it stands, is not capable for the things that people want to do with it. And so they are trying to force, like that, some ASMR right in your ears. They're trying to force that square peg into that round hole real hard because they want the money that is associated with it. But what they have to do then is come up with these alternative solutions. And there are a number of them that are working, but maybe not so hot. And one of the things that like we often throw out there is, here's something like Solana, which has, 4 centralized nodes. It's huge. It's great. There is no backup. There is, for Web3, maybe you are able to kind of get into the ownership aspect of it, but you're not moving into the decentralized aspect of it. Things are not checking all the boxes. And for many people, that's fine. But so one of the things that I find really interesting about Hive is it really is that easy that if there is not a layer 2 solution that suits you, you can fire one up. Now, that's not to say you can just do it as a normie, but it is an ecosystem that has an incredibly engaged community that will try almost anything because they love the idea of building and expanding on the base layer. You have a wide set of libraries, and of course we have the Hive application framework that will be building basically core APIs that will allow pretty much anybody to hop in and spin up their own sort of custom config node for a dApp of any sort immediately. So yeah, Deluxe now is going in a direction, whereas Hive Engine is very much a turnkey solution. And I think that's really valuable. We often forget that people come here and they're like, I want to do a thing, I'll give you some money, and then the thing will work. How do you do that in a decentralized way? Well, Hive Engine is able to kind of accommodate that. They have out-of-the-box solutions where somebody who's like not a super freaky-deaky core developer can still enter in and engage with this idea of Web3. And then you've also got something like Deluxe, which is open fully and able to sort of make things that anybody that wants to explore with the code can do. On top of that, they are doing, DEX, they are doing all sorts of things. And so these are only 2 layer 2 solutions that exist. There are many to come. So yeah, Cly was building a Hive EVM. Cly likes to take on a lot of stuff and he does great work, but he often either gets distracted or has a lot of stuff going on in his life. But so there you go. Here's a single person who has focused not even their full time on it, who made a concerted dent in, putting together this EVM. It's quite interesting. And in this coming year, we're going to see more and more of these things, these layer 2s, these explorations with what Hive can power being spun up, and it's awesome to see. So with that being said, we're coming to the halfway point of the show. I can see there's some wavering in the watching numbers because whenever we get too deep into the coding weeds, people are like, oh, Grim, and then just kind of wander off. So, we're fast, we're fearless, we're scalable, we're having a good time over here. But I would love to see everybody having a little bit of fun over here as well. So as we kind of move forward, there will be some things coming down the pipes. Oh, look, here's another YouTube user that is a bot that is dumping crap links. Let us, good old Sidel Melinda, poof, you're gone. Bye, bitch. They are officially blocked on YouTube, and that's the end of that. So they're also now blocked on Restream Chat, and that will be deleted. So goodbye. Okay, with that being said, some of the things that are coming up in the new year too is we are going to kind of be moving towards things that are more tech focused, because that's the thing that we're missing right now. Hive is really interesting in that Hive attracts a lot of normies who become crypto literate, whereas other chains kind of bring in the less normies and then need more users to follow. So one of the things that Hive needs to do is start showcasing all of this shit for developers. And I'm happy to say that we will be working on another hackathon very soon. So lots of things in the pipe. If there is a reason that I am tired, and it's you. No, it's Hive. But yeah, so what did Chop Lamb say? Anything can hijack the discussion. That's what CyberBuzz is all about. So when normies mention blockchain, it's almost always about financial game. Is that the right approach for it, or should it be more focused towards sharing information? Yay! What a great fucking question. What a great question. Now here's the deal. Remember how earlier I said there's no right way to use the internet, but there are some wrong ways? Blockchain's kind of like that. There's no right way to use the blockchain. There are some wrong ways, but overall, there's no right way. Now, let's talk about how do you get anybody's interest in anything, right? Why do you like the things you like? Why do you use the things you use? Why do you explore anything? If I came up to you and was like, I have 10 new items, please look at all of them. You're going to be like, I don't have fucking time for that. Which one of these things will help me knit a better or crochet a better tea cozy? That's the one I'm gonna, just give me that one, get out of my face. That's how we work, right? There is a value proposition. There is some sort of interaction between you and the things that you use, that you want to explore. Very rarely do you just go out and randomly consume a bunch of information, pick something at random, and be like, guess I'm into this now. That's not how it works. We don't do that. So that's a great question, because what is the motivation behind anyone doing anything? Because there must be a motivation. And before we continue on that, everybody's asking about the hackathon. Yes. So, more information to come, not solidified yet. There's been a lot going on. Marky was working on Hive Punks, which really took up his time and his attention, obviously. And if you actually want to watch a great talk about Hive Punks, my show from a couple of weeks ago is available. You can watch the replay. It's super fun and really interesting. So, shameless plug. But so what that meant was he really wasn't looking into doing a hackathon during that time frame. And so some of us outside of sort of STEM geeks and with Marky started planning one as well, because we're like, let's get this fucking show on the road. And now we have kind of come together and we are joining forces because frankly, why make two when we can become a gestalt and become greater than the sum of our parts? So Marky and I are going to talk more about it, and we will probably have a lot more exciting information for you soon. But you were here, so you heard it directly from the horse's mouth. So yeah, what's the motivation? Is it okay as a normie to be like, I'm only interested in crypto and blockchain because I heard that's where I will get magic internet beans and I'll never have to work again? Yeah, sure, that's fine. Where the problem becomes with that, and I'm going to check out what Shadow's Pub has dropped in chat in here just a second. Where the problem comes with that is motivations that are built solely on sort of potentials like that. I'm going to start a YouTube channel and I'm going to become famous. I'm going to make all the money. I'm going to start crocheting tea cozies, but also the tea cozies, the part that goes over the spout of the teapot will look like a dick. Everybody wants that. I'm going to be rich. All of these motivations that come from somewhere like that don't always have enough oomph to follow through. And so when we say, hey, okay, blockchain, crypto, yeah, you can make a ton of money. That's a very small piece of information. It does give you motivation. But the problem with motivation like that is if the motivation is based on something that is actually not quite as likely to happen, and somebody comes and it doesn't happen, they immediately leave. There's something really interesting. Think about how hope works, hope and motivation. I believe that X thing can happen. And I'm going to give it 10 minutes for X thing to happen. And in fact, if X thing doesn't happen, it was even worse than, if I was just trying this naturally. Because I have an expectation and that expectation was not fulfilled, fuck you, I'm never coming back. That's how people work. So when we say, hey, come talk about blockchain with me, Boy, that actually exists. You've got to be fucking kidding. Clay went to Etsy. Someone legitimately actually made a tea cozy that has a penis that the You guys are watching my head explode on air right now. I literally was making that up. I can't believe that exists. It's hideous. I am, it's not often that I get flown for a loop, but I am thrown for a loop here. Wow. So I was coming up with a hypothetical tea cozy. Someone has made it. It is on Etsy. If you want a tea cozy that looks like a penis, there it fucking is. Wow. Okay. Normies. Money. Motivation. Hope. That was a combo breaker. Rule 34 tea cozies. Dick cozies. Tea dicks. Tea bags. Dick bags. That was a combo breaker. I am gonna play a piece of music and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna tackle this again because Shadows Pub put something very insightful into chat and we were starting on a good topic of conversation and now I'm just gazing long into the vagina abyss of a teapot cozy that just has labia and let's play some music. Let's do it. Very short track and no, you don't always fuck up the show. It's fascinating that I came up with something that I thought was hilariously absurd and also unlikely to exist. And it does exist and it's terrible. And now I'm sad. So let's play this. Internet. These are the joys of the internet. When we talk about why we're all here, it's for this moment. Right here, right now. So I'm going to play you a quick track by a band called Makeup and Vanity Set. I fucking love them. It's called Online. It's very short. We'll just have a breath. Scroll the dick pot up and continue on with our show. We do have about an hour left. My name is Crimson Glad. This is CyberBuzz Radio. We're all online, okay? That's it. There you go. I told you. Really quick, slight palate cleanser. So, hi. Welcome. My name is Crimson Clad. This is CyberBuzz Radio. We're about halfway through the show today. And it has been, honestly, I'm going to call this a little teeny tiny pity party because I've been having a rough week. I have, there's just so much going on, lots of things bad, and I'm tired, and there's, every day I'm waking up for 3 a.m. calls for Hive, and I'm just, I'm over this week, but I'm never over CyberBuzz. I'm glad you guys came to hang out today. We're having a lot of fun. We're playing a bunch of music, and it's an unplanned show. And what that usually means is we chat back and forth. We talk about whatever happens to be topical, and then you guys have a lot of input on the show. Shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 68,482 times, probably shame on me. And so we have talked a little bit about, second layer solutions. We talked about what is Web3, what do we think about Web3, ownership, identity, the idea of not just using a network, but participating in a network in some way. And of course, we've also kind of just, chitty-chatted about Hive folks and things like that. So it's a well-rounded show today, which definitely has not immediately culminated in my cute little off-the-cuff idea of a dick tea-spout teapot, tea cozy, which then immediately was dropped into chat because of course there's some broad on Etsy who's out there just sitting all day crocheting tiny little dicks to put on teapots because, how can you enjoy your tea if it doesn't look like a wang? Questions for everyone. This is what we use the internet for, folks. So yeah, Shadows Public, he found it so fast. Have you not considered he's actually bought something from there before? Good point. Really good point. Holy Hannah. And often on this show, we talk about, on this show very frequently, knitted tea cozies. And that's my go-to example because they're really fun. They're a recognizable niche item that is very strange, but you know what it's for. And it's often a really great sort of a MacGuffin, we'll call it, to drive conversation forward. You understand what it is. You probably don't have one. You probably don't need one. You get why you need one. And the people who are making them or who do love tea or whatever, it's a very niche community that is very involved in this one thing, but everybody else gets it. And it's a great example. And I've literally been using the tea cozy example for the better part of 6 years now, 5 to 6 years. And so every now and again, there's still a surprise. Tea cozies still hold mystery. Hi, Sandman. Good to see you. I'm glad that the dick tea cozies were enough to lure you in. Maybe penis first. And you know what? You could be a Sandman and also have female genitalia or no genitalia at all. But today is not that day. So welcome. Where we left off before things got horrifically derailed by black yarn pubic hair in your tea is we were talking a little bit, and Chop Lamb, who is sort of a self-professed normie, was saying, okay, well, if we're talking about how do you discuss the idea of something as esoteric as Web3 with a normie? You're here because Hive Chain. Excellent. Glad to have you. We're talking a little bit about Hive and its place within Web3. And my place within Hive, and your place, all of you in the circle of life, holding a token to the sky. Everything that you can see on the node network is your kingdom. And so, and you know me from MST or MSP. Either way, it doesn't matter. Hi, I'm glad to have you here. So with all that being said, we're coming back to this question of how do you talk to a normie? And is it okay that most normies right now, all that crypto means, all that it means is money. It's just financial gain. How do I get it? Why am I here? Give it to me, give it to me. So Shadows had dropped before things went really, maybe not even sideways, but went upwards in a a stiffened trajectory, Shadows was saying recently had a discussion with someone who had another friend bugging her to get into Bitcoin. I suggested she not go for the invest, make millions hope, and do something instead that lets her make the token while getting into a community and testing her creativity. That last part caught her attention about going back to writing. Now, so where I was going to go with this is, as yes, things went not only tits up, they went fully erect, and we just off we went. So before that musical interlude, we were talking about motivation. How do you get the motivation to do anything? And in this case, one of the biggest questions is, how do you get someone motivated or interested in participating in Web3, in participating in blockchain, in participating in crypto? These things all kind of go hand in hand, right? How do you get someone motivated? Well, immediately, if you say, you could come here, you can earn money, people are like, yes, we all need that. Everyone needs it. Even the people who pretend they don't need it, maybe they don't even need it, but they still want it because once you have a lot of it, you turn into a greedy fuck. I digress. Money is an excellent motivator. It's an excellent conversation starter. It's an excellent cold opener. Come over here, you'll make a lot of money. Come into my van, little girl. It's a tried and tested theory. But the reality is it's actually not enough. And we know this because before, after, inside, around the web, often you do the thing for money and then you're not happy. You are not motivated enough to continue with the thing, right? Got your foot in the metaphorical money door, but it didn't necessarily, you don't want to stay there. You didn't pull it the rest of the way and leap through. And that's a problem. So in cryptocurrency world, everybody's like, yay, money. And then they get in and they're like, oh, it's hard. Or, ooh, I lost my money. Or, ooh, key management. Or, ooh, I don't understand. And there's a lot of things that kind of block that motivation. It's a good lead, but it's not enough. And so this is one of those things. Yeah, absolutely. We could approach the outside world and normies with, yeah, it's all about money. But the thing is, even beyond blockchain, beyond crypto, beyond Web3, that's not enough for most people. It isn't. There has to be something else. And that is one of the trickiest and most important aspects of how we talk about crypto and how we talk about Web3. Web3 is not just participate in the network and get rewarded, because again, nobody wants an extra job. But if it is that participate in the network, get rewarded, and you also have some say in governance, because you know what? I know you spent 3 years building that incredibly active Dick Tea Cozy community on Facebook, and suddenly out of nowhere, they decided that your community violated some standards. And even though it was okay for 3 years, it's not okay now. And they've taken that community away from you. They've taken your friendships, they've taken your value connections, they've taken the marketplace where these fabulous men and women who are crocheting bespoke genitalia to cover your pottery, they no longer can sell to each other, they no longer can exchange tips, they can no longer, collaborate on, perhaps some sort of multiple genitalia array. It's gone. And you, as a user of the network, that part pisses me off. So yeah, I do want the potential to earn money, but what's the next thing that shores that up? You need to have at least more than one value proposition. Financial isn't enough, especially in a world where the things that we talk about financially, the people who are making buttloads of money, anus loads of money, but literal fuck tons of money, they are not the norm. It's the same as pretty much anything in the world. There's 1 or 2 or 10 or X amount of percent of people who really succeed. And it motivates everyone else for like 5 seconds. They don't succeed and they quit. This is not a blockchain only thing. So again, you have to get over that hump. And that's the tricky part for sure. YouTube streaming, there are X amount of channels that go gangbusters and everybody else is out here filming everything they do and just creating an online database of shame. However you want to respond to it, we need more than money. So, is that a good leader? Yeah, I do. I actually do think so. And, a lot of people in the Hive ecosystem are going to read me to filth on this because we've often been saying, well, you can't lead with that. You can't tell people come to Hive and earn money. because it's not guaranteed. And you're right, it's not. Managing expectations is an important part of any cold call. And that's going to be the thing going forward is you can mention money. There is an intrinsic monetary or economic aspect to Web3. What is ownership? We talked about ownership and identity. Part of ownership is assets. It doesn't have to be a dollar. It doesn't have to be fiat, but ownership of your assets and the things that you build. We talk about value on this show so much. What's valuable to us, everybody has a different value system. But value is value. And if you value something, you want to protect it, you want to grow it, you want to exchange it, you want to create it, you want to consume it. And you don't want somebody else stopping you. So is saying to a normie that a blockchain is all about money, is that a good lead? If you temper it with something else. But what if we changed out the idea of money for value? What if we stopped saying, okay, the blockchain's all about money, and we started saying the blockchain's all about value? Because inherently, when you say, what do you value? Somebody will think about something. Something will pop in their head. Their bank account, their cat, their massage chair, their Xbox One, their, whatever. There's something that they value. And when you start talking about value, you start making a more personalized connection. Somebody out there does not care. They want not to earn lots of fiat. They want to have lots of dick tea cozies in which they can then have clout, sell them. What do you do with a dick tea cozy? Doesn't matter. If you value it, that's the thing that you will connect to. So in my mind, to kind of end up this ridiculous rant, how do we get normies talking about engaging in, enjoying and participating in Web3? What types of rewards above and beyond just money? Because we can't promise that in the blockchain space. It's possible, but it's not for sure. How do we instead talk about these things that are attractive to people, but we word it or help them understand how much deeper it goes? It's more than $1. It's value. This is something that I'm going to sit down and I'm going to ponder a little bit more, because coming up, there will be these conferences, especially focused in on Web3. And knowing that I'm going to be speaking at them, I think this is an area that we may have a little bit of fun with. So I'm going to pop it in the back of my mind. What the fuck is value? Why do we care about the things we care about? How do we build spaces that let us engage in the things we care about? Whatever those things might be. All right, so maybe one more track here. Let's play a little bit more music, because of course this is a Synthwave show. It used to be that I played a ton of music every week, and then you guys started asking questions, and then it became very Hive-centric, and then we dove into all sorts of tech, and now we don't really play that much Synthwave at all. So I'm going to do that. Let's play one more track. We'll get a little dancey. We'll probably finish up with something as well. You'd like to engage in more hugs. Agreed. We should have lots of hugs. And after that track, I want to kind of brainstorm about what we can do maybe to have some fun with this little Hive people giveaway, or Hive folk, giveaway, to give away this little crimson clad Hive folk, because you can still mint. Minting is open. If you're interested in engaging with one of the cool things happening on L2, layer 2 on Hive right now, you can go to Deluxe. There are still, I think, about 300 editions left. You can go mint. You won't know what you'll get. It's a surprise. You could go open, or you can hold on to an unopened NFT over on Deluxe, a Hive folk. Or you could potentially try and win yourself a little Crimson Clad. We have already had the suggestion of best Crim Photoshop. Honestly, if we're going to go that way, there needs to be some direction. Because some of these Photoshops, man, Let's talk about what would be a great way to get people in there and to have somebody enjoy owning a little Crimby. Let's do some more tracks. I'm going to play a track by Neon Tenic. It is called The Dark Drive. It's very much the aesthetic that I like. Wet concrete with reflected neon and all sorts of things like that. A little bit noir, if you will, but of course with touches of that retro future. My name is Crimson Clad. This is CyberBuzz. Every Saturday I am here hanging out. Sometimes it's entertaining. Often it's educational. Always it's a car wreck you can't look away from. I mean, so why ever you're here, however you're here, why ever are you here? It's good. Thank you. Continue. All right, good stuff. So, hi, new followers, Kardok Divans. You know, that is fun. You sound like some sort of feudal landowner laughing it up at all of us serfs. Thank you for bestowing me with your presence, and the rest of you as well. So it's fun. Lethal has joined us and is saying that realistically, everyone should know how to knit their own phallic items, and ain't that the truth? Be self-sufficient. Become ungovernable. Knit your own dicks. Hi. It's CyberBuzz. I was going to say Full Force Radio because you know what? There are a lot of dicks at Full Force. But here we are, CyberBuzz. Today has been a wide-ranging chat about about all sorts of things, but largely Web3. We've been talking a little bit about Hive, folks, NFT, layer 2 solutions on Hive. Sort of the wider, broader, how and why do we get people interested in the space that many of us are already interested in? And like I said, some of you guys rock up because we just play Synthwave. We have sort of like a, replicant dance party every week, and that's fun too. I'm glad you're here for whatever reason you're here. So, Lord Almighty, the things that are going to get sent to my P.O. box. But Sandman, yeah, so you put in a great point, and this is something that I think more and more people are starting to understand, and crypto absolutely is a part of that. And your English is fine, by the way. We have lots of people who come to this show, including Gabriel is in, I believe, Brazil. There are lots of people who come to my show to try and learn English, which is awesome. I love you. I am so sorry for all of the absolute filth that comes out of my mouth that will not help you learn anything at all. But we're glad to have you here. There are people from all over the world, even in the chat is there a Shane? Shane is here. I'm not suggesting that the second a bunch of phallic items show up in chat that so too does Shane, but I am going to point out the coincidence. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Thanks for coming to hang out, guys. So I'm going to look away from chat because we now have like dick light switch covers, large candles, all sorts of things of that nature. But what I did want to throw out there is that we have people from all over the world. And if you look down here, these are the people who are featured in Discord if you're watching. And they are from everywhere, all over the place. Upside down, Europe, Canada, the US. Some of you probably exist only within your own horrific... Hi, Frank. Thanks for coming to hang. So the reality is, you guys are from all over. Some of you exist only within your own dimension of terror, and I'm glad to have you nonetheless. So we've been talking a little bit about how do we explain Web3 to people who don't know even probably what the web is, and crypto and connection and blockchain in general. They're terrifying. How do we do that? And so, Sandman was saying, hey, listen, for me, I feel like the money that I get has to be worth my lifetime spent to earn it. Yes! Sandman says time equals money, and my money should buy me more time. That is fabulous fucking English. That's perfect chef's kiss English. Here's the thing. You are spot on. Now, this is something that's been happening in sort of a greater velocity. We're heading towards it. What you are talking about is time preference. Many of us are realizing we are really not interested in working our entire lives, retiring, and then dying 2 days later. No one's into that. And we're starting to understand that value, like we were talking about earlier, the value of things. Money is an intermediary step. Money is a settlement layer between us and the things we value. And time is the most important of all. We don't have a lot of it. We are ephemeral specks of dust in the universe. The blockchain is forever. These two things, how do we connect them? We ephemeral beings, this giant immutable, database of arguably a lot of shame. And where on that spectrum do we find value? What a great question. So yeah, when we talk to a normie about value and we say, hey, what do you value? The easiest and probably the most interesting topic that we can kind of attack that from is time. All of us value more time. All of us wish we had more time. Whether or not maybe we're sitting around not doing anything right now, but we would value time spent on things that we want to spend it on. And especially if we're making money, for a lot of people, it's done in a way that we don't feel like it's a good use of our time. Lots of people love their jobs. I mean, I love my job, but at the same time, if I could choose to do less of my job, now you're there, you're everywhere. Look at you, everywhere. So the reality, The reality is, can you choose sort of your time preference? Can you choose your commitments? Can you choose where you spend your time in exchange for money? And how does that line up with your values? Abso-fucking-lutely. Web3 is part of that. When we talk about ownership in the network, and when we talk about there are these opportunities that open up to you to participate in the network, not just use the network, but participate in the network and potentially have ownership and rewards that come out of participation in the network. These rewards now make sense when you start thinking of, well, also, I'm going to carry my assets with me. And for me, the valued assets that I have are game assets. I want to spend more time gaming. How do I convert that time into potentially money? And how do I also, how do I potentially turn that into where I want to spend my time? Time and money. So when we talk to normies about Web3, you're right. That is a great way to sort of massage the idea of value. Everybody understands value. Everybody understands money, and everyone understands time. And all these things are converging in Web3. In the fact that if I'm going to be spending my time on the internet, around the internet, in the internet, sometimes under the internet, how does that come back to me in a way that is valuable? What does that return to me? What do I return to others? These interconnections and this ownership that I have, what does it do for me? And that's the fucking crux of it all, isn't it? That's why we're all here. Whether it is ownership, as Lethal is saying, of identity and data, whether it is I literally just want to be able to carry, my Splinterlands cards with me. Fuck Magic the Gathering. Do you guys remember when we were kids and you had the binder full of fucking Magic cards or Pokemon cards, and you had like tote bags full of binders, and you were trying to, just getting to your friend's house down the fucking street was a whole deal. Nah, man, I'm going to travel around the world. I'm going to go spend some time, on a beach one day, at the top of the mountain the other day. And those assets, I'm going to carry them across borders, time, space, and they will intrinsically follow me, and I'm going to play the game whenever I want to play it, and I'm going to participate in whatever tournament. I'm going to potentially earn some money, and then I'm going to use that money to then go to the next place in my life. Holy shit. That starts making sense. And then it's, okay, well, I played a Splinterlands game against somebody, and in fact, it turns out that somebody is Julia, and Julia is this fabulous artist, and, I wanted to send her a tip, so I did, because she's in Canada, and it turns out Canada, I can't send a fucking ETF from the US to Canada, so how do I tip Julia? Oh, well, that's no problem. I'm going to take some of my earnings, and I'm going to send some on to her, because nobody can stop me from directly sending her a tip, and then Julia's going to take that tip, and she's going to go, and all of a sudden, all of these ecosystems, all of these interests, all of this value starts meshing, and everybody can start doing what they want, and no one can stop them? Holy shit. Web3 is really interesting that way. And it all comes down to all of us empowering everybody else to be a part of that network. It's no longer, did Facebook let me come and hang out in my community today? Fuck that. Absolutely not. When I logged on today to my, I was going to use an example of a crappy Canadian internet provider, but nobody here cares about Canada. Canada's made up. And I don't know, what's a bad one in the US? Comcast? When I logged into Comcast today, what do I get from this? Absolutely nothing. Their service sucks. Their downtime sucks. They suck. They determine how much of the internet I can participate in. And then when I participate with places on the internet, Twitter turns around and is like, whew, that's wrong, think, and throws it out. What? Web3 starts saying, okay, well, if you want to help secure this network, if you want to help run this network, we're going to reward you for that. Fuck trusting only, Comcast to be an arbiter of data distribution. We're going to say the Hive blockchain. You're going to help produce blocks on the Hive blockchain, or you're going to help run a seed node, or you're going to help run an API. And you can do those things and potentially get rewarded for it. You wouldn't get that if you were just helping, say, Comcast put up extra infrastructure. That's only for them. That reward system doesn't come back to you. This is sort of the road that we need to go down. But how do we really explain it to normies? I don't know, but I feel like we've really touched on some fun stuff today. So knowing that we've only got like 25 minutes left in the show, I figured we would swing back around to these Hive folks. I've seen many of you guys have been all up and enjoying the collectible NFT craze that is starting to infect Hive. And it's funny because some people weren't into it, and then it came to Hive, and then they're like, oh shit, this is fun. It's fun. And the thing you said you'd never do, here you are doing it. Your values are changing based on the community that you are a part of. Neat. Absolutely neat. But the reason I bring this up is I was gifted a crimson clad Hive folk, and there is something very strange about owning myself, and I would love to pay that forward instead. So there are many people who are minting them right now, but if you potentially would like one and you don't want to take a chance and you want to stick with the crappy person you know rather than the potentially awesome one you don't, I was thinking we're going to give away this crimson clad Hive folk, but I would like to find sort of a fun way of doing it. And should it only be to somebody who isn't on Hive? Should we try and you have to lure someone in? Or should it be anybody from our community who maybe just doesn't know we're doing this yet? I don't know. It's up to you guys. We've already had the best crimson clad Photoshop suggestion floated, and it was Ron's, and Ron is always wrong, so fuck that. Can you think of anything else fun that we could do for that? Now, one thing I will say is, as we kind of are tying everything into the idea of Web3 today, one thing that I mentioned when I found out I would be in this Hive Folks collection is I immediately said, well, anybody who gets a me, I'm going to do something for them. And I'd like to do something to them that is connected to ownership and identity and takes advantage of the fact that we are in a Web3 connected ecosystem. So what I'm going to do is for anybody, I haven't decided an arbitrary date yet, but for anybody who is holding a little crimson clad Hive folk, I'm going to create a one-of-one piece of art. I'm going to tokenize the NFT on NFT Showroom, and I'm going to send it to them. Just by having it, I am going to transact some value to them because they find value in something. Two totally different layer 2 solutions, interconnected assets and ownership across the Web3 Hive network. Fuck yeah. And I expect we're going to see more of this. We've already seen some really cool experiments on NFT Showroom of people that if you buy one NFT, it will open up the possibilities for others. Wait, if you buy me, do you have ownership? Yeah, we've been talking about this earlier. I'm guessing so. I mean, technically, if everybody's sort of like tongue in cheek, my name and my sort of any identifying factors are not on the NFT. It was created by somebody else and is being sold by somebody else, but it's me. So, I mean, I guess so. Maybe you have maybe I'll give you like one veto power or something, but arguably no. My idea is I'm going to kind of continue to drop value to people who see value in holding this thing of me. And nobody can stop me from doing that. And that's cool. I like that. I like that form of interconnectedness. And I think we'll probably see more of this as time goes on. And this is something that kind of encapsulates why it's really interesting, not only with NFTs, but sort of what can happen inside this type of ecosystem. So that's the idea that's out there. But I also do want to give away this other one. So just keep in your mind, is there something that would be fun? Some kind of contest that we could do, potentially that you guys could participate in as well. I don't know why any of you would want a crimson clad, but maybe some of you do. And if you do, I'm happy to oblige. What would be a fun way of giving it off that's not just straight up raffling it away? So let's... so Sandman's saying I play an old game called Second Life, and I think Second Life is the father of NFT because I can earn money playing it. Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong. Gaming certainly was sort of the digital predecessor to what we think of as unique assets now. You're actually correct. Things like Second Life, like, World of Warcraft, like EverQuest, like any of these games that existed where people gathered and you played with other people around the world over a network. You're right. The starts of this Web3 idea was there. You could connect with other people, you could play the game a long time, and you could craft an item in a game, or you could spend a bunch of time, putting experience and unique buffs on, an asset. We're coming back to assets and value and time again. We have a marketplace where digitally, people from around the world can gather. We have items that represent both interest, time, fun, value, and they can be transacted inside this marketplace. What's missing? Why aren't those games part of Web3? And the answer is because if Blizzard doesn't like your face, you're out. And that's the missing part of the ownership, right? You own it as long as somebody else allows you to own it, which is different in Web3. In Web3, if you want to, play Splinterlands till your heart's content, earn your assets, and then decide later, Splinterlands goes, "Oof, we don't like you." Oh, well. Splinterlands can say, "We don't want you to sell your cards." And you could say, "Oh, well," and go sell all your cards. All of a sudden, that ownership exists above and beyond that one centralized, corporation or whatever that. You're right. These fathers of NFTs, these fathers of the idea of Web3, and all of them existed sort of within the gaming space. You're right. It's certainly an innovator. It's a place that drives innovation. So coming back to chat, I always like to monitor chat because it gives me a good idea of whether or not I am saying anything interesting. And chat, if chat is any indication, I haven't been talking about anything interesting for quite a while, so my apologies. And in fact, chat is discussing about considering that there are these NFTs of me and that I'm going to give one away. We are going to actually pretty much divide me up, turn me into a timeshare, and everybody with an NFT can divide up my time. And so I am now a timeshare, so saith Shane. So forth, so on, and etc. So good. And Ron has decided he's taking the first week of February because then he will not have to deal with me for Valentine's Day. But so then does that mean for, Steak and a Beach Day in March that I'm going to be in high demand? Questions. So many questions. Okay, so we have 15 minutes left in the show. Things have inevitably come right back to a problematic area, as they always do. We had just gotten away from knitted tea cozy dicks, and here we are back down. Can you cook a steak? Of course I can cook a steak. And the thing is I don't cook steak for other people. I cook steak for me, which means I cook steak spectacularly because I like steak. Steak is my favorite animal. So today, and Azaria's here. Oh, look at all these people that I love that I haven't seen in a long time. Is this because I said I was sad and lonely today? Are people showing up because I said it was a pity party? If so, that's fantastic. Those are your friends, man. These are the people that care. There's a lot of you. I'm looking across all of the different streaming platforms. I hope you guys have had fun today. We've been talking about really dumb, weird, esoteric blockchain stuff, but it's been fun. And we've had some interludes for terrible, terrible Etsy dick things, and it's fine. So yeah, good job, kids. This is great. I'm enjoying this. So with all that said, Zaria is another one of the Hive folks, and she is like fucking legendary. There's only been like 2 Azarias that have dropped yet. So given that we've been talking about that today, if you want some premium, fabulous lady Hive folks, you're looking for an Azaria. Yeah, okay. So Sandman is talking about the dynamic of whales and steak in the blockchain, and that's a great topic too. I'm just nervous to get fully into it because we only have 15 minutes, and it's probably going to descend into madness, but we'll try and touch on that as well. I figured we could play maybe just like some gunship for old time's sake, and yes, Shane has the first edition Azaria and is auctioning her off in chat. So, I mean, realistically, this is not only a digital marketplace where people gather and ownership and value is being transacted in the comments right now. It's also just a complete meat market. Go team! Freedom for all. Okay. And yeah, Julia's saying, if you ever want to buy me something, it's really easy. Just pick something with skulls on it. She's correct. That's about it. Pretty much. All right. So let me, oh God, let's play one more song. I'm holding it together really well. I appreciate you guys. I know I've thanked you a couple times today. I'm going to throw it out there again. Knowing that January is going to be full of some really big like conferences and speeches and AMAs and interviews and stuff. I really appreciate that you guys put time in, not only to come hang out with me on this show, but you also share your thoughts with me. Because knowing that, you know, some of these avenues that we're moving down and some of the work that I do around Hive kind of, I wouldn't want me to go into it alone. So thank you for taking parts of these journeys with me. And often I don't know what I think until I hear what I say, and you guys engage me in great conversation. And that is all part of it. So knowing that we do only have like 13 minutes left in the show, I want to play one more track. I need to get a little more liquid into my body. I need to center myself, and then we will, everybody is going, if I have your NFT, do I get access to you? I mean, if you would like to travel in this day and age, I am very open to meeting strangers from the internet. This sounds crazy, but that's one thing that blockchain has done for me. Over the past 5 or 6 years, I have met and engaged with many of you in person. That sounds naughty, but that's not how it is. And it has been fabulous. Frankly, the people that I have met from around Hive, from around these live streams, from around the radio station and beyond, you know, the blockchain space have become some of the most important people in my life. And arguably, I've actually met quite a few of you here. So hell, why not? And in fact, Chop Lamb was not even able to axe murder me the last time because they took his axe on the plane. I'm still alive. It's good stuff. All right. So with that... With that being said, let's do Gunship. I didn't plan on doing Gunship, but let's do Gunship. Do you guys have a Gunship track you want to hear? I play a lot of them, and I mean, we've played probably arguably every single fucking Gunship track of all time. But I mean, we haven't played Fly for Your Life for a long time. I was thinking maybe like Fly for Your Life or The Mountain. Those are both really good songs, and they'll give me a quick chance to kind of finish up the show on a powerful, good, happy note-ish. And will be some good music in your guys' ears. So we'll see if anybody comments. Whoever picks first. Fly for Your Life is my vote. Done! We'll come back and we'll talk a bit more. I'll come say bye. I changed my background to longing in there. So now, if you're seeing the lighting behind me, we are now fully in longing. Hi, Anna, though. I'm just ending the show. So we have had a day today. And so here I was saying, man, I'm not gonna post this to the blockchain. I'm not gonna do anything with this today because it'll probably be a shitty show. And of course, as per usual, you guys turned it into a really fun, entertaining, and hopefully really educational show. And I'd like to open this up to further discussion, both on how the fuck we're gonna get rid of this little crimson clad. But also, still kind of opening and engaging and furthering this Web3. Thank you for the tip. That's another thing that I'm going to be working on is Bambika, another awesome streamer and Hive developer, has created a bot. And actually, Kitty Girl sent it to me. She saw it and sent it to me. And a bunch of people were telling me, hey, use this. So yes, I have to set it up on my server. It's on the to-do list. And yes, TLDR, if you didn't watch the show, Web3, hi folks, Dick Tea Cozies. That's it. That's what we did. But so where I'm at is today I am going to be spending some time. I'm going to be spending some time going through this show and last week's CyberBuzz. I will be posting both of them to the chain because I would like to make them available to you guys. I'll be doing some editing of old shows. I'll be doing some art, some coding for NFT Showroom. Basically, I'm going to be chained to my desk for the rest of the day. If you are also going to be doing that, you can, of course, go through old replays or whatever, come hang out with me. But don't forget that part of where I am broadcast is a social broadcasting network, a bit of a radio station, if you will, powered by Web3, powered by Hive. So we have lots of DJs, and there are more shows today, and a couple of them are in the chat right now. Uncle Bonehead and, of course, Clay. They will be doing shows later on today. So if you want to discover more cool, fun, streamed, interesting content around MSP Waves, go to mspwaves.com. You can go check out the whole schedule. Maybe you will find someone who entertains you even more than me, which is very possible. So with all that being said, we got lots of stuff going on. And of course, Marky is here. He's just popped in before the end of the show. We mentioned him a couple of times. And as I said, some of the editing for the old Marky episode is already up. The link to the show is there. I've got another audio file to drop in. But if you missed our chat, you can go back and listen to that. We talked all about punks and all the sad and fun and exciting and shitty things he went through to bring punks to life. And everybody's so entertained by that. So with that being said, we are at the end of the show. I will be leaving you guys. I'll be leaving you guys very soon. Is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about that isn't turning me into a timeshare and arguing about when you want to hang out with me because you have to plan your time to make sure that you get the most and give very little? If we can avoid that, if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about, we could change my background a little bit if you want. I always love these pre-programmed backgrounds because professional streamer here. I'm trying to figure out what all these are. They're ridiculous. Krim, what's your favorite punk? I don't have a favorite punk. I kind of like the one. I kind of like the one that looks like me, but P-Funk has it and it's too expensive and I'm not willing to buy it. So we could just change to enthusiastic. What does enthusiastic look like? Oh, it's terrible. I don't like it at all. What a mistake. Oh no, mistakes were made. There you go. Is it enthusiastic? Do you feel enthusiasm? I hope so. Okay, so the next time you guys will see me, just as a reminder, is Thursday night, Friday morning, depending on where you are, for Full Force Radio. Heavy metal and fun. Man, they're good shows. I'm not going to lie. You should come hang out. But there are some last little housekeeping things. Looking at the calendar, guys, it's almost Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, that's fine. But it is the holiday season. Take the time, whether you give a shit about Christmas or not, to spend some time with you, with people you love, doing stuff you want. Remember how we were talking about time preference and time is money and money is value and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Spend some time on you. Do stuff you want to do. So looking at that, the next CyberBuzz Radio show will be on the 18th of December. That'll be next week. We will do that. That will be a fun pre-Christmas show. The week after that is December 25th. That is actually Christmas Day. There will not be a Christmas CyberBuzz. I'm sorry. It's just probably not going to be possible. I plan to be incredibly hungover and spending a Christmas with my nephews because they are young enough that they have really only known COVID Christmases. That's bullshit. They deserve good Christmases. So do you. However, CyberBuzz won't be part of that. And as per usual, if you guys want to, if you guys want anything, go ahead, shoot me a message. I'm almost done with crimsonclad.com. But otherwise, just find me a DM on here, any of the platforms that you're watching. Send me a follow. If you want anything, need anything, I am at your disposal. Disposal? You don't even need an NFT for it. I am not a timeshare. I am simply here to help. And I will see you guys next week. Bye. These lights are awful.